Hi, we're going to start now. I would like to welcome you all to my round challah braiding tutorial, do it yourself, DIY. Yeah. We're going to be making 4 challahs, one of which is going to be raisin, one of which is going to be...
No, we're going to be surprising.
Oh,
surprising.
Surprises. Yeah. You can use literally whatever you want inside of your challahs, like literally anything.
I always want to say that to get ready for tonight, we have just been spending the last hour watching videos of Noah and I baking challah together.
Yeah.
Starting from when she was 2 years old.
Oh boy.
So you probably know how to do it by then.
We've been baking together for the last 14 years.
David, could you take the dog, please?
All right, so just like we do during services, I want to ask folks to be aware of your baking, of your sound environment. Anything, if your microphone is on, anything that you can hear in your background, we get to hear too.
Are we muted?
So you can mute yourself. You don't have to. If you get a little too unruly, then we're gonna mute you.
Okay. So we're making 4 challahs. So if you give it a look.
Yeah. So we sent out a recipe earlier. If you used our recipe, that is enough dough to make 2 chalot of the size that we're making. Whenever we make dough, we typically make a double recipe, and that enables us to either make 4 chalot, or we can freeze some of the dough, or freeze some of the braiding chalots.
A lot of people freak time.
All right. I'm gonna mute everybody. That didn't take long. Okay, so everyone is now muted. If you have a question, I would invite you to unmute yourself to ask a question. You can also use the little raise your hand if you would like to do that, and hopefully we'll be able to see you and call on you.
Yeah.
All right. So I made this dough this morning. Okay.
It's fabulous.
So I've already punched it down. It had actually risen to the top of this bowl, so it was a very, very puffy challah. So Noah, you want to get started on dividing up our dough?
Yes. So what you do first, you take flour, you sprinkle it on your surface because you don't need a ton. You just don't want it to stick because that will get in your dough later. And then you can just take it and scoop out the whole thing. It doesn't really matter too much if you tear it, but you'd rather keep it kind of nice and fluffy if that's possible. So you have lovely dough. You guys can see it. Yep. So then you can take either one of these pastry cutter thingies or a knife.
Actually, I'll just show you what we use. This is like a dough scraper.
Yeah.
It's silicone, and that enables us to get all the good doughy stuff.
You don't have to use one of those. You don't have to use one of the dough scrapers. You can use your hands or a spatula or whatever. But once you have all your dough in the shape in front of you, you take these. And if you made a double recipe, you're going to cut it into quarters. If you only made the one recipe, you'll cut it in half. And yeah, try to get it kind of even just because it's better. They'll cook evener and they'll be more uniform. And then once you do that, you'll just stick either one of them or 3 of them off to the side and just deal with them later.
And one thing you might want to do is you may want to cover the dough while you're not using it, just so that it doesn't dry out and form a crust before you start making it.
You can cut the apples.
Okay.
Are you cutting apples now?
We'll get there. We're going to do the raisin.
So this first challah, I'm just going to be making just kind of to show you the intro to filling it, I guess, with whatever you're filling it with. You guys should either just watch me to get the feel of it or divide up your challah into 4 and copy it along. So you can take your dough and either do it, just watch me, or you just cut it into 4ths and follow along. Wait, how do I? Okay, you can see it. Okay. So for this one, I'm gonna make a one braid, but it's gonna be like a swirl. So you just start by rolling it out, and you can add flour or you can't. It's better to not use flour if you can help it. But if it's sticking like that, you should obviously use a little.
This dough is on the wet side, so you're probably gonna need a little bit of extra flour.
So you're just gonna roll it out. You kind of want it to be thinner, if possible. And you should try to keep it like rounder, not triangular, if possible. And it's better to make it more oval-like than round.
So no, why are you rolling out using a rolling pin if we're trying to make a round challah?
Because this is a very large piece of dough. Normally for 4 braids, I use my hands because.
But why make it flat and do this?
Oh, because this is how you make it like the filling evenly distributed.
Do you know where I learned this technique?
From a chef at the High House.
I learned this, so as soon as I moved to San Jose, I was invited by David Nyberg, a member of Sinai, who was, at the time, was the chef at the High House. And we would sometimes go for dinner at the High House with our kids, and he was the chef in the red hat. Known to our kids as that. And he invited me to come and bake the round raisin chalot for Rosh Hashanah for all of the residents. And I was blown away because he did not use any measuring implements whatsoever. He had one of those big Hobart industrial mixers. He just dumped flour and salt and sugar and everything in. And we needed to make 110 chalot, and it came out to exactly 110 chalot. Amazing. But he's taught me a technique for getting even distribution of raisins in a challah, which we're going to show you right now.
Okay, so you have your large or regular sized disc, and then you're just gonna take your raisins or whatever you're using. It's best to use 1/4 cup for each challah. You'll distribute it to either the 4 braids or the 1 braid accordingly. So just use like a 1/4 cup measurer.
Put it in there first.
Put it in a bowl or not. Doesn't matter too much.
So I'll say something else I learned from David. These raisins are pretty fresh, so they're not sticking together. Sometimes if the raisins are older, they stick together. And if you add just a little bit of water to them, it'll help them separate, which will make them a lot easier to work with and less likely to clump up. I think we're gonna need more than just 1/4 cup of raisins.
Probably.
So
I'm gonna start with 1/4 cup.
Yeah.
So you'll just take it and just kind of put them on your dough and just kind of spread it out kind of evenly. No large amounts in one spot. But you'll just kind of be remembering that remember it should be as even as possible, not too close together, not too far apart. I need more than that. I don't usually make raisin challah, so I don't know if this is the right amount.
Yeah, the kids usually complain whenever we make raisin challah. So okay. We're doing this, we're just getting started. This is like the warm-up challah. Yeah. And so we're using let's call this the traditional method of making a round raisin challah for Rosh Hashanah. But just to be clear, we don't typically serve challah like this at our table.
Nope.
So we're just getting started.
Yes, so you got your lovely raisins just scattered everywhere. And then for this part, I normally like to, so normally my challahs turn out at least like a little bit triangular. So I like to take the hypotenuse, which is the side closest to
fancy word.
Your math lesson.
She's a high school student.
Yeah. I'm learning. Okay, so you keep the side that's the hypotenuse the closest to you, just because it's easier to roll up. And then you just roll it, kind of like this. Something to remember is you're not pushing the challah forward, the roll forward. You're like lifting and turning, because if you push it, and this is more important when we get to the cinnamon sugar, then it'll all just like spill out the edge. So if you lift and turn, it all stays neat and like doesn't get all weird. Yeah. So then you kind of pinch it together. You can either do this or just like squeeze it really tight. I kind of make it look like this, kind of like a dumpling. And if it's not sticking at all, you can take water and just like run it across the edge, and it'll make the dough stickier. But anyway, you have your lovely dough. You want to make sure the seam is pretty seam-like, so that it's good. And then you just take it and you stretch it. You can do this or just like do that. I don't know. Just make it into a rope.
Was this 1/4, like for one challah?
No, this is the entire of the challah.
Huh?
So we started with a double recipe.
Yes.
Right,
That double recipe was divided into 4 parts.
right.
Each of those parts is going to make 1 challah.
And this is the entirety of one
So this
challah.
is 1/4 of the
okay.
entire recipe we made.
Yeah.
Right? This is going to be a single rope round challah.
Okay, because I did my 1/4 and then cut that into fourths. And
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're jumping ahead.
Compared to yours.
You're getting very advanced.
Yeah, they
now.
probably look very different from this. If you're gonna, yeah, yeah. So you have your rope. Once it's a good size, you might like to let it rest, or you can just have it be nice and long. And then you just take it, and it's pretty simple. You just roll it. Yeah, it's not very complicated. You just make a nice little spiral. And then just to make sure this end kind of sticks, you can take water, lovely cup of water, and just put water on it, and it'll stick a little bit better. And then you
So
have
another
a lovely challah.
you could tuck it underneath,
That's also a better method.
right, which may help keep it from unrolling.
And then it pops out, and it's like a little shell, and it's really pretty.
Can I hold it up to the camera?
Yes. So you've got challah,
Beautiful.
challah. Wait, yeah, that's the challah. Yay. And then you can just stick it on a tray. Plop.
So
there we go.
we use these silicone baking sheets. If you've got those are super easy. Then you don't need to use any oil or cornmeal or anything like that. If you don't have one of these, parchment paper would be the next best choice. If you don't have one of that, some cornmeal or semolina flour put down on top of the tray, and then you put this on, and then it shouldn't stick. Something else that I think people will often do with a round challah is if you've got a round cake pan, put it in that, and then it will keep it kind of contained in that round shape.
Yeah, although it should stay pretty rectangular.
Sorry.
Are you talking about the angel food cake pan?
I'm talking about.
I didn't mean to make you search, Rabbi. Sorry about
All right,
that.
I'm talking about something like that.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
different. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Put some spray oil in here, and then put the challah dough in here, and it should be just fine.
Yeah, but it shouldn't spread apart. It probably won't, so you're fine.
And if it does spread apart, just eat it anyways.
It'll be fine. It'll be great.
It'll be delicious.
Fabulous.
Mine looks more like a cinnamon roll.
All right, so
It does.
if you have just braided a single rope challah, can you hold it up to your camera so we can see, and unmute yourself and let us know what you've done. All right, Judy. Oh, that's looking beautiful, Judy.
Fancy.
Nice.
It's more like a cinnamon roll to me.
It looks
Yeah.
great. What else? Who else?
So
Oh, Jenny, that was great.
my first batch of your dough, I had trouble with. It didn't really rise, and I'm not sure why. So I had to start again.
You
But
know,
the second batch turned out okay.
yeah.
Good.
When I was making mine, it came out too dry. I had to add a little more water to it. Lynn, let's see it.
Ooh,
Nice. Nice.
extra fancy. Huh?
Okay.
Yay. So
All right, that was our first challah. We are ready
First
for challah number 2. What's going to be this? What are we going to do for this
it
one?
will be a cinnamon sugar 4-braid round challah.
All right, so cinnamon,
Sugar.
sugar,
4-braid
4 braids,
round challah.
round. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this one, you're going to take your either 1/2 or 1/4 of your dough, and you're going to divide it into quarters. And again, try to keep them even. Otherwise, it'll be annoying later. Yeah. And then you're going to take these and either make them into like squares or a circle. So this one is ideal. Wait. Yeah, that one's ideal. This one isn't. So I'm just going to like squish that. And then for these, I don't like to use rolling pins because it kind of gets rid of the bubbles. So you can just stretch it out with your hands. It doesn't actually need to be like too thin, just generally, which is fine.
Right. So
Kind of like pizza.
when the dough rises, you get all sorts of gas forming inside, and that makes bubbles. And so if you don't want bubbles, then the rolling pin is your friend. If
Yeah.
you like bubbles, then if you can manage to stretch it out into discs by hand, then you're more likely to get bubbles in
Yeah,
your,
and
in your
it'll be
bread.
fluffier this way.
Maybe a little fluffier.
But
Yeah.
it's also way easier to use a rolling pin, so do whatever works best for you. So then after you stretch them out. It's good to let them sit for a little bit just to rest before you stretch them out again. While that happens, for cinnamon sugar, you're going to take a 1/4 cup of sugar and stick it in your bowl. And then you're going to take cinnamon, and it's about like a tablespoon. I just eyeball it. Like a tablespoon?
I don't know. How much?
Teaspoon, 2 teaspoons.
How much do you like cinnamon?
Don't skimp on the cinnamon, or else it'll just taste like sugar.
If you really like cinnamon, you want to use a lot of cinnamon. If you don't like cinnamon, don't use as much.
It should be like
So if you see
a healthy amount.
Noah put a pretty good amount of cinnamon there.
Oh, okay. I have eyeballs, I promise. I'm actually smaller spoons normally. Okay, so we've got, can you see? Yes, lovely cinnamon sugar. It's not very well mixed, but anyway, it should be like a nice brown color. Not. You gotta use cinnamon. So then after you make that, it's a 1/4 cup of sugar, and then however much cinnamon you use. Then you stretch it out a little bit more. The circles or squares or triangles of dough. Remember to keep the hypotenuse close to you. Yeah, your math lesson for the day. Yeah. So then you kind of just do the same thing that I did earlier. You don't actually have to put cinnamon sugar into all of these. It's better. It's more evenly distributed, but you can do it in some of them if you want. Try to keep the amount in each of them about even. So you're just going to take it and spread it around. Thin, even coat across the whole thing. You want to try to get it close to the edges, but like not exactly on the edges, just so that the ends of the challahs get.
Yeah.
Cinnamon
Your goal when you roll these up is to keep all of the cinnamon sugary goodness on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And if it gets in the outside, then it's going to make a big gooey mess on your pan, which is not a terrible thing.
It's really not. It's like candy. It's like this like crystallized cinnamon sugar. It's awesome. So.
But I would rather have my gooey goodness inside.
Excuse me, are you piling it on, or are you kind of just smearing it a little?
It's just kind of evenly distributed.
Very thin. You should.
It's very thin.
It's a thin layer. Yeah.
Yep.
It's just a thin layer. You don't have to use a 1/4 cup, and you can use a little bit extra. Use whatever amount works, I guess.
Noah tends to not measure so much when she does the sugar, and somehow it tends to be a little bit more than a 1/4 cup.
Just a bit.
But she's behaving because I'm standing right here.
Yeah. So that's fun. Anyway, you'll have your lovely circles with very little of an edge, but still kind of an edge. And then like before, you'll take it and you'll just roll it. And this part is kind of important. Don't push the ropes. You're going to kind of like lift and turn, kind of using the edges. You can pull it if you want.
You the first one.
If you saw that, you lift it and turn. So you want to try to keep all of the cinnamon sugar inside, and then you just pinch the seam shut and let it sit, and then do it again. You're lifting and turning. So you've got lovely little weird logs, which will end up fabulous, hopefully. Yeah, so then you're just gonna take them and you're gonna roll them out again. I like to turn them into ropes in kind of the order that I rolled them up, just so that they have more time to rest. And then you should try to keep them as long and thin as possible, because then your challah will look better.
You got to be pretty gentle, because
Yeah.
if you work them too hard, you might split open into the cinnamon sugar that's on the inside, and that will make a mess.
If that does happen, to patch it up, you can use a piece of dough from one of the other pieces of challah that you haven't used yet, or the end of one of your ropes, and just like turn it into a Band-Aid, which is kind of fun to do. So, yeah. Okay, so you have your 4 lovely ropes.
You're fast.
All right, we're fast.
Yeah, I will let you guys have time to
I have a
do that.
question.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, no, if you could go slow when you go on the 4th thread, because I usually just make it with 3. So with 4, I'm not too
Oh, yeah. Okay.
good at it.
Maybe you want to pause here.
Yes.
And we'll talk about the third challah that we're going to make.
Oh, the third one. Yeah. So this one is a 4 braid, which I will show you how to do. It's not going to be like a regular do. It'll start like a square and kind of work its way outward. So after this 4 braid cinnamon sugar, we're going to make a 4 braid apple cinnamon.
We're going to make, because why stop at cinnamon sugar?
Yeah.
So
Very good.
we like to dip apples in honey, right? So
Yeah.
why not have an apple challah, apple cinnamon sugar challah as well? So maybe for folks who are trying to get their 4
They can't-
braids together, while you're doing that, I'm going to peel my apple in anticipation of our third challah.
Yeah, and if you're going to be using an apple, it's better to chop them kind of fine, just about the size of raisins, just as an idea. I think 1 apple should be fine, probably, hopefully.
Well, again,
We'll see.
depends how much you like apples.
Yeah, that. Yeah, but then after that 4 braid one, we are going to be making a 6 braid challah, and it is going to be a lemon zest sugar one, which actually tastes very good.
That sounds awesome.
Can I come over now?
We got a raisin one. Let's surprise
Okay,
them.
we'll do that after.
Okay.
Can I come over now for that lemon?
All right.
Okay.
Is there such a thing as the dough being too elastic?
Too elastic. What do you mean by
Kind of rubbery, like, does it need to rest or anything, or does it matter?
I mean, rubbery sounds pretty good. Here's the basic. I think I put this in my recipe. The challah should. I mean, what bakers will talk about is they use the window pane test when you're kneading the dough. The question is, when do you stop kneading? So the window pane test is when you take a little piece of dough and you kind of stretch it and try to get really thin, and you get to the point where it's almost kind of see-through, like a window pane. And that's the right amount of kneading. So this is really good dough right here. Now, what I read in The Secrets of a Jewish Baker is a better test than the window pane test, and that is the earlobe test.
Right,
The challah should be the same consistency as your earlobe,
right.
your daughter's earlobe. So
Your
It never
daughter.
works out for me. I
it
feel
doesn't
like-
work out. All right, well.
I feel like, I don't know.
But elastic isn't bad. What I find is when I'm rolling out dough or working with dough, this is true of pizza dough also, you kind of roll it out and there's kind of a limit to how big it'll go. If you leave it for a couple of minutes, it'll settle, and then you can usually get a little bit more.
Right. Sort of heard that somewhere, but
So I'm hoping by now you all have your 4 ropes or are very close to it. If anybody isn't like really close, or I don't know, if you're kind of far away, let me know.
We're recording this, and we'll
Oh, we
post
are
it up.
recording it. Yeah, and if you miss this step,
You can watch this over and
over and
over
over
and over
again. You
again.
can watch it to your heart's delight. Be fabulous to watch it again and again. I keep saying fabulous. So you're gonna start for making the 4 braid, and if you miss these steps, I'm gonna make another 4 braid right after this. So just wait, however long it takes. So you have your 2 ropes right here, and then you're kind of making like a crisscross pattern, kind of like a pie, right here with just the 4 ones here.
This looks like kind of like an over-under.
Yeah,
you need to go slower.
Yeah.
I know. I'm waiting
Let's
here.
go way slower.
So you have these 2 here, and they're all like going over and under with each other.
I'm going to zoom in.
You can do that.
I
Okay.
Can you take that apart and do it again?
It's kind of like tic-tac-toe.
Yeah. Okay. So you have your 2 things right here, 2
Okay,
ropes
so
right here, and
one
then you take,
across. Oh, okay.
so you take your 2
So
ropes
put down 1 rope at a time.
right next to each other, parallel.
Yeah.
Then you take 1 rope, you put it a little bit off center on top. Make sure that it's like kind of even where it lays, and then you're just gonna lift it, and then put it under, like that.
Okay.
And then you're gonna do the exact same thing with the other one. Put it down, lift, and put it under. And they should all be pretty even, kind of like this distance and then this distance. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it shouldn't be like wonky or whatever. But yeah, you have your lovely braids. Not braids, not yet. Yeah, so does your guys all look like this? If you're joining us
It
like
looks like a basket weave.
Yeah.
That is exactly right.
Or if you're like making one of those cherry pie toppings, kind of like that. Or sort of a lanyard. If you ever made those with plastic string, I did.
Oh, lattice. Yeah.
Okay. And then once you have that, you're gonna start kind of on the edges. So you have your parallel strands. So you're gonna start on one side. You're gonna take the parallel sides, and you're gonna start with the one that's under the other one. So you have this one's on top of it. You're gonna take this one, and you're gonna cross it over the one that it's parallel to. Okay. And
Give
then
him a second to do that.
okay. So you're taking the one that's
Like, why don't you show him one more time?
so you're gonna take it here, the one that's underneath it, and you're gonna cross it over the one that it's parallel to, kind of like this. So that's kind of parallel to the other one. And this one's kind of angled a little bit. And then you're just gonna do the same thing all the way around. So you're gonna take it, you're gonna take the one right here. You can kind of just follow along. You should be able to just follow along here. Take this one, see how it's underneath this one, and just lift it and go over. And then you're gonna do that again with this one, the one that's underneath the square thingy. You're gonna lift it over. And then you're gonna do the same thing with the last one and lift it over. So if you did it right, it should look very symmetrical. If it doesn't look symmetrical, you should let me know. I don't know what happened.
And if it not, that's okay.
Yeah, it'll still taste good.
It's
It'll
challah.
just be a weird
It's going in your belly.
knot shaped. So it'll end up round. It's not symmetrical.
I'm gonna have to watch that over and over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? The next challah we do is also going to be a 4-braider.
Yeah.
So we're going to get
Oh,
another
God.
chance to see it.
Okay.
I'll show you mine.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
That's where I'm stuck. That's it.
Okay. So Judy, I
I'm
can
spatially
see.
challenged.
I can see that you've got two ropes next to each other that are both going over the same rope,
You need one under and one over.
right? It's got over under.
Over and
Every rope should be over one and under one.
over. That's not. I don't know.
Keep
I'll
working.
start all over again.
All right, Noah.
Okay.
Keep going.
Keep going, Noah.
You have that. It's kind of the same pattern where you take the rope of the two of them that's currently under a rope. So if you imagine it, you can kind of see that they're kind of touching each other, kind of like this. If it looks kind of like that pattern, you can kind of see that they're like hands going like that. So you take the one that's currently under one and you just lift it over. And then you take the one that's currently under and you lift it over. And then you just go around taking the one that's under and lifting it over. Yeah. Which will look kind of like that, like a weird starish shaped thingy. I don't know. Did you guys get that? Do you need me to repeat it?
Press
Yeah?
on. We're going to show them again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a repeat of the same exact thing, where you take the one that's under, and you kind of have to stretch them, but you like lift it over, and then you'll tuck them under. Take the one that's under and lift it over, tuck it. Take the one that's under, lift it over, and then tuck them. And then this last one's kind of a stretch, but just lift it over and then tuck it. And then you'll have a lovely little
Beautiful.
braid crown thingy.
So the beautiful thing is, even if you kind of got it a little bit mixed up,
It'll still be a weird.
it's okay,
yeah.
because if you kind of tuck the edges underneath like that, it still ends up okay.
Yeah.
And it might not be totally symmetrical, but that's okay. It's going in your belly.
Oh, it happened.
Yay. It'll still look like a circular knot. So you have your lovely challah,
God, yours looks perfect.
a lovely little flower.
All right. So
Yeah.
let's
Did you just put flour on it?
We did not put flower
no,
on
she
it.
said it was a
Oh,
lovely
okay.
flower.
Oh, it looks like a flower.
Looks
Yeah.
like a flower.
Oh, okay.
We have
Okay. Oh, we're only doing
two on
right.
two.
Two each.
Okay.
So those are our lovely challahs. Wait, are we gonna put the sprinkles on that one?
Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
Noah had a surprise.
Yeah, we gotta put sprinkles on at least one of them
Okay.
just to show you that you can.
Right. So this is going on the one rope raisin challah. We're gonna.
Yeah, and you can use little anything. You can use also like assorted seeds, like poppy seeds, or I don't know, seeds and just do this. Just like,
May not stick.
oh yeah, you might need to start with your egg wash to do this. Actually, you probably do.
Yeah. We're gonna jump the gun. Do some eggs.
This is how you do the egg wash. You take your egg, we have a silicone brush. You can also take an unused paintbrush. If you don't have one of those, what do you use?
Your fingers.
Yeah. Like a paper towel, maybe?
Improvise. Improvising is good.
Figure it out. Be creative. But you're just going to paint it nice and gentle. Yeah. So if you're going to put poppy seeds or sprinkles or whatever, you have to egg wash it first. Otherwise, they probably will not stick, and then you'll be sad because they'll just fall off.
Our challah dough recipe uses
Egg yolks.
the single recipe uses 1 whole egg and 2 egg yolks, meaning we get extra egg whites left over. So we always save that and use that as our egg wash. Some recipes just call for whole eggs, in which case you can just crack a new egg and put it on top. My late Baba Fanya, she told me a story that when she was growing up in Ukraine, when they couldn't afford, or they didn't have eggs available even, that her mother would get the golden color on the challah by using used tea bags. Yeah, and so she would get some color and she would use that to put on top of the challah, and
That is cool.
and that was how she got the challahs to make the right
Jews
color.
are so inventive.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you had your lovely egg wash, you can take your sprinkles or your seeds and just like sprinkle. And then it'll be pretty and colorful or tasteful. I don't know, whatever you're putting. Yeah. So now it's fun. Now it's not completely terrible because it's raised in challah. Might be kind of biased, but whatever. It's fine. Sprinkles. Now it's fun. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna egg wash the other one because it's here.
Okay.
Um,
I'm going to start to cut up my apples for our third challah, which is going to be our
They can't see the apples.
cinnamon apples.
I will
see my
move
knife.
this. Oh, the lovely knife.
Okay, so I have peeled and cored my apple. And as Noah mentioned, I want these apple pieces pretty small. If they're too big, then they're going to make the ropes lumpy, and that could create some problems. Because it might cause the dough to the apple to break through, and we don't want that. So if you imagine the size of raisins, that would be a good goal in terms of the size of the apple chunks that you want to make.
Do we put sugar with the apples?
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
So you put sugar, not a ton of sugar because you have apples. About a tablespoon, maybe less.
I'd go maybe 1/8 of a cup.
1/8 of a cup. That's 1 tablespoon. No,
No,
2 teaspoons. No, wait. There's 4 tablespoons in a cup.
it's half of that. Again, these are all just estimates.
Yeah, literally do whatever you want. It'll probably taste fine. Yeah, so you want to add extra cinnamon to this because like apples. So put about the same amount of cinnamon you did in the one before. And just
And use the cinnamon sugar you made before?
yeah, if you have leftover, totally.
No, yeah, but we used up our cinnamon.
Yeah,
cinnamon
we used it up, so we're just adding more because, yay. So this should be really cinnamony, like kind of obnoxiously cinnamony because you're also adding a ton of apples.
That's good. That's good.
What? No, you need more. Okay,
The whole apple?
whatever.
I did. It was kind of a small apple, but if it turns out that you feel like you've put enough filling in it, then just don't use the rest of it.
I mean, you could probably just eat the extra apples because not like they're gonna taste bad or anything. But yeah, you can just like stir it.
What if you put lemon in it?
We're gonna get there.
That's the last
That's
challah.
all right. Yeah.
Gotta be patient.
But are you thinking of like lemon juice?
Just to keep the apple.
Yeah, that would make sense.
You don't have to do that. You can.
Brown.
Anyway, we've got our lovely apples.
Okay.
Looks kind of weird, like sticks.
All right, here, I'll let you do it.
Yeah, so you're gonna do the same thing we did last time. You're gonna divide it in half. And then just stretch them out again. Try to keep them a little, Try to keep them in round circles before you start stretching them out, just so that it stays even. Because it's better. Yeah.
You're getting a little bit out of focus there, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you fix that?
Vivian and Laura, did you have a question? See a hand up. Vivian.
I was just gonna say we have another challah recipe. Is there somewhere we can share it?
Sorry, can you were breaking up a little bit. Can you say that again?
If you're vegan, it's a vegan challah recipe.
Oh, if you're vegan. Is that what you're asking?
We have another challah recipe if you're vegan.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
No,
so
we have one.
you're going to need to have a recipe that doesn't have eggs.
We modified. Oh, no, yeah. But we still put egg whites on top because we're not vegan. We just found this vegan recipe. So if anyone's vegan, you could share it.
Got it. So in Israel, if you go to the makolet, the corner little grocery store, they'll often sell on Fridays they'll sell a makolet challah, which doesn't have eggs in it. It's just like a very plain. It doesn't have eggs or much sugar in it, so it's kind of has a different style. The idea of challah is, think about it as an enriched bread. It's got eggs, it's got sugar, it's got oil, and I think back to my Baba Fanya who didn't have eggs, right? So you think about it, if you're living in a time when eggs are scarce, to be able to have a special bread that has eggs and oil and sugar in it, that makes it very special. And of course, that's what we do for Shabbat and especially for Rosh Hashanah.
Okay. Yeah. But you had your lovely, whatever you call them, circles again. Remember the hypotenuse thingy.
All right, I'm gonna zoom out for a second here.
And then you're just gonna do the same thing you did last time. And with the raisins, you're just gonna, sometimes it helps to put like some in the center before you start spreading them out, just because that way you'll make sure you don't just like run out halfway through, like I kind of did last time. But yeah, you're just gonna take them and spread them out. And yeah, it's kind of dry, but it's fine because the sugar will melt. But yeah, just make sure it's even. And again, you don't have to use what we've been using. You can fill them with whatever you want. I remember one time you filled them with Trader Joe's everything but the bagel seasoning, which was actually really good. Yeah. So.
How about dates?
Dates, sure. I chop them up, but that should be great.
Right.
Rabbi Josh.
I put pecans in once.
Yes,
My
yes.
kids were not fans, but
Nuts don't go on pastries.
they don't have very good taste. So
That's not true, but okay. I will need some more.
Rabbi Josh.
Fine.
ain't no time.
Back on mute.
You did a challah making with Shayna.
That's right. Shayna and I did a challah making video for Camper.
Hi, Rabbi Josh.
Hey, Shayna.
Okay. So you have your lovely filled rounds, circles, I don't know, whatever you call them. And then you're going to roll them up again. Remember to lift and turn, don't push, because that way they won't all fall out the edge. And it'll be a little bit harder to pinch these ones shut because you can't really pinch, because otherwise you'll tear it. So you kind of like lift and stick. I don't know. Remember, you can use water if they're not closing very well. Just wet your finger and drag it along the seam and it'll close better. But yeah. So hopefully it's working out. And the finer you chopped your apples, the easier this step will be. So, yeah.
Are you saying I did chop the apples very finely?
They're a little long.
All right.
But that's okay because it's fine and they're not breaking.
Yeah.
So.
And they're gonna cook wonderfully in the oven.
Yeah.
So.
It'll be like apple pie inside of the challah. Well, that sounds good actually.
Yeah.
So if we cook them now, will they be good for Erev Rosh Hashanah for
So
Friday?
if you bake them tonight, I would suggest that you put, as soon as they cool, put them in the freezer.
Okay.
Put them in a Ziploc bag, suck out all the air, put it in the freezer. You can take it out Friday morning, and it'll be ready for that night, and it'll taste very fresh.
And you can stick them
Okay.
in for like a minute or two.
Yeah.
Just to heat them up again so that they're warm and yummy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could we have frozen the dough also?
Oh yeah, we do that too.
We do that sometimes also. What happens when you freeze the dough is, what I've heard is that about 70% of the yeast dies in the freezer.
Really?
Oh, okay.
So when you then thaw it out, it'll rise up again, but not as much.
Okay.
So what would be better would be to put the dough in the refrigerator.
Okay.
And I do that sometimes. So you can put the dough in the refrigerator probably for up to about 3 days. Again, you want to put it in a Ziploc bag though, so that no air gets in, and
Yeah.
it'll probably actually even puff up when it's in the refrigerator.
Would you have braided it and put it in the refrigerator and then just stick it in?
Yeah, you can do that. So I'll often braid the dough Thursday night, put it in the refrigerator overnight, and then take it off like Friday around noon. Let it come to room temperature and then bake it Friday afternoon. That's perfect.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. So Noah is about to do another shot at a 4-braider round. So if you didn't quite catch it all the first time, we have another shot.
Yep.
All right. So go slow.
So hopefully they're pretty long again, but if you remember, you make it a little bit off center on the top. And you can actually put both of them down at the same time right now, just to make sure they're really center. But then you're just gonna lift and put down. And then you're gonna lift and put down. So if you remember, it should be sort of weird basket, cherry pie.
Hashtag.
That's not a hashtag. I don't know. It is what it is. It looks like this. So does anybody need me to stop and wait? Yes, no, we good?
Judy, how you doing?
I actually didn't do it that way. I just rolled it up like a round.
Okay, that's okay.
I made 2 little rolls instead because I didn't have enough apple anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So then you take, if you remember the one that's underneath, I did it the opposite way this time accidentally. So you take the one that's underneath and lift it, put it over. And then you take the one that's underneath, you lift it and put it over. Take the one that's underneath, lift and pull it over. And then like that again. And it's better to, like, when you lift, kind of stretch it out a little bit, just so it's a little bit longer. So you have your weird open flower. I don't know what it looks like. It is what it is. I said that before, but it's okay. Yeah. And then you take the one that's underneath, you lift it and put it over. Take the one that's underneath, lift.
So in the opposite direction.
Yeah, the opposite direction. It's kind of like clockwise, counterclockwise, like salmon in a stream. Yeah. There. So you have it again. And then this last one is kind of just for tucking under.
Pinch and tuck.
Pinch and tuck. I don't know. You don't actually have to cross this last turn. And actually, if you made your ropes longer than mine and you still have extra rope that are really long, you can just keep lifting and over and braiding for like however long you have.
So pretty.
Yeah, it'll just be prettier, or I don't know, more intricate looking. So anyway, you have
Robert, Josh, I'm gonna get ready for bed now.
Okay. Nice to see you, Natan. Thanks for joining us.
Anyway, you have your lovely challah, number 3. And Saul wants to come say hi because he wants to say hi.
All right.
Okay, that was fun.
All right. Thank you, Saul.
This next one is going to be lemon sugar. So we use the zest of about 1 lemon. You can also use a lime or an orange or a grapefruit. I don't know.
Citrus of choice.
You can use kumquats, but that'd be a lot of kumquats.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it. Maybe etrog, that'd be weird.
We did that. We did that.
We did?
Yeah.
Whoa, okay, I don't remember that.
People always want to know, what do you do with your etrog after Sukkot?
Turn it into challah. Apparently it's not blasphemous, so that's a bonus.
It's no challah.
Directly into here.
That's good.
Okay.
Right.
So you take about 1/4 cup of sugar, you dump it in your bowl, and then zest your citrus of choice. You can use however much you want, just don't use too little. Use about a lemon. You can use more. The more you use, the more flavor it'll have. You also don't have to use this type of thing. You can also use cinnamon sugar again, or raisins, or apple cinnamon, or poppy seed, or chocolate, or any other fruit, or dates. Just use whatever you want.
If you use chocolate, then how do you prepare the chocolate? You shave it like that?
I would just use chocolate chips
Yeah.
and put it just like we did the raisins.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. The nice thing about rolling it up is you get a very even distribution of whatever it is that you're trying to put inside your challah.
You don't use ganache. Ganache is too soft.
Yeah, and that will melt. It'll melt all over the place.
I mean, it'll look fine. It'll look still really wonky. So, you know. Okay, so you take your lovely lemon. I'll use this. And just about, this is 1 lemon's worth. You can see. It should look
Tablespoon wise, can you kind of tell us if it's tablespoon wise?
Yeah, about that.
Not a tablespoon.
About that. Yeah.
It's really not like an exact science. Just eyeball it.
You may not put all filling in.
1 lemon usually gives about a tablespoon of zest.
Yeah, it looks like about a tablespoon.
It should look very lemony. It should be very evenly distributed. Like it look. This is what. Wait. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So take that how you will. And again, you can use any type of filling. You don't have to do what we do. So.
How much sugar did you add?
A 1/4 cup of your filling. You can also do less or more if you want.
Yeah, I find a 1/4 cup's about the right.
Yeah, you can also. It's all subjective, really. So this one, if you remember, is going to be a 6 braid, which is super fancy. Which there's lemon zest on this. I don't actually really remember how to do this one too well, so you're gonna have him teaching you. So, yay! So you're gonna divide it into 6. Yeah. I don't know how to do this right. Okay, that looks about right. Okay, so you've got your 6 ropes. So it'll take a bit longer, but you're just gonna stretch them out again into lovely circles or squares or triangles. Hopefully not hexagons, because that's a bit complicated. Yeah. Oh wait, this is not working. It's not very tall. But yeah, hopefully it's working. These are definitely gonna be smaller than before. Wow, that one's so cute and tiny.
Is anybody else working on a 6 braider right now with us?
Oh, they can see your kippah.
It's covering my bald spot.
Yay.
Can you do a dairy one for Shavuot?
A dairy. Dana asked if we could do a dairy one for Shavuot.
They've done like
like goat cheese, basil. Would that be good?
Oh, I go for a savory stuffed challah. That
You
would
could
be
totally do
interesting. I've
savory.
never done that.
Ooh,
but
like goat cheese, basil, garlic. That'd be either be really weird or really good.
I think it'd be good.
I don't know.
Too many baking shows.
I like a white chocolate blueberry.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Using white chocolate chips.
I only have two challah and I'm ready to bake. So how long and what temperature do I bake them at?
So generally I bake challah 350 degrees. I find that the round chalot take a little bit longer to bake to get it all baked into the middle. So maybe about 45 minutes. You know, it may depend on your particular oven.
Give or take. It's also, you don't have to put them directly in the oven. They actually puff up more if you let them sit for a little bit.
And if it's getting too brown on top, but it's not cooked, you can put a piece of foil on top.
Yeah.
To prevent it from getting too brown on top.
Okay.
And you'll know it's done when you can like take the challah, kind of turn it over on its side and tap on the bottom and it sounds hollow. Like it's like stiff on the bottom. So.
All right, so 350 and I'll try 40 minutes.
Yeah, put it for 40 minutes and then see if it's ready.
It also doesn't taste bad when it's slightly underdone. So there's not really too much of an issue with that.
Probably never tastes bad at any stage.
That is also very true.
She gave good directions because I printed a copy of all the directions. So that was really good. And it told all about the freezing and everything.
Okay.
That was
Really
actually
excellent
him.
job.
But
Oh, okay. Well, whoever. It was a great
Yeah.
job.
Taught her everything I know.
okay, so you
Bye.
sugar, lemon sugar spread out. And then you're gonna roll them up again. It doesn't really matter. I mean, this stuff sticks a little bit more, so you don't have to worry too much about it falling out, but still be careful. Yeah. So roll them up again. Remember the high. Yeah.
So Rabbi, did you say that, or Noah, did you say that if I'm not planning to bake them tonight, if I wanted them for Erev, then what could I do?
You could do one of two things. You could either bake them tonight and freeze them
Okay.
Friday, or you could put them put the braided chalot in a Ziploc in the freezer, take it out Friday morning, and then by the afternoon it'll be ready to bake.
Okay. And that might not rise as much.
It should be pretty good though. I mean, it'll work.
If you're gonna bake it now, take it out like 5 minutes early, right? Didn't you used to do that? Like you take it out 5 minutes early when you bake it, partly?
No, that didn't work.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I tried to par bake chalot and it didn't work. All right, so here, Noah, can I maybe get in here? So we've got now 6 braids, basically the same, 6 ropes, basically the same size. All right, so I'm gonna put 4 of them aside for now. And so now I've got 2 ropes and I'm gonna just put them side by side. And now I'm gonna take 2 more ropes and I'm gonna put them on top.
Is this still going to be a round challah?
Sorry? This is going to end up round, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, let's see if I remember how to do this now.
Probably figure it out. Make up your own new braiding scheme. I don't remember.
Okay, so what I did, I have 2 on top right here, and I'm going to take my 5th rope and put it on top of these.
Cool.
And put it underneath one of them. So I've got kind of that lattice right here in the middle.
Wait, but this one still has over this one. Right? Like that?
You want me to do it that way? Okay, we can do it
No,
that
wait,
way.
like it's not.
That works.
It's like, wait.
How do you want to do it? There's a lot of different approaches we could take for this.
Oh, wait, no, I see what's
All right,
happening.
so-
No, I got it.
Here's the thing is that you could braid a challah different ways. So let's try something a little different here. I'm going to take the same basic lattice approach that I took the last time, but this time I do it with 6. So essentially, I'm just going over and under. So
Okay.
Wait, that's not right.
it's not right. You're right. There we go. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that looks right.
Okay. So what we have here is every single rope, right, is going over and under, right?
Mhm.
So each time it passes another rope, it's doing the opposite of what it just did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so that's essentially the same principle that Noah used when she was doing the 4. So we've just expanded that to 6.
Yep.
Okay. So now let's see what we can do with it. Now notice I've got 3 sticking out from each end.
Ooh, that's going to be difficult.
So what am I gonna do with that?
Okay, wait. I don't know.
Don't panic.
Don't panic. That's good. Good, Leah. Don't panic. All right. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to braid the end of it like I would a normal challah.
That's cool. Cape braid.
You keep going.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Well, it's
Now,
cool. It's like a star.
that's kind of cool, just like it
Like a
is.
Star David almost.
Yeah. Yeah. So I could just do it like this, and that would be really fancy, although it's kind of like a cross, so maybe I don't want to do that. So now what I would do is I would essentially just fold everything under.
Yeah.
Oh, instead of tucking each one.
Well, that's easier than the other way.
Right. So now, and I just want to,
That's complicated.
compare the two.
That's actually kind of cool.
See if we can
I'm an egg wash.
go here. There you can see my bald head.
Yay.
All right. So let's just take a look at these two chalot here. This one that I'm pointing to is the 4 braider. And you can see the 4 that are there right in the middle. This one's the 6 braider. And so there's just more of a, I don't know, more bulbs kind of.
More compact.
Yeah. So
They're nice.
they're both going to look beautiful.
It'll be more evenly.
Very little close.
Like the filling will be like more throughout it because it just will be.
Yeah, the important thing is that when we slice this open, there's going to be swirls of
It'll be super pretty.
of sugary goodness running through every single slice.
That's the difference between cinnamon sugar and lemon sugar, because with the cinnamon you can like see everything inside and you can see how it like looks and it's really awesome, but then with this one you can't. That's okay.